Hello, everybody. I cannot figure out how to go live from my Chromebook on Facebook. So, I'm going to go ahead and change that and go live from my phone. Give me a second. Let's see if I can get this done really quick. Let's see here. Hello. It's a confusing day. Now I have to figure out how to set my phone so Facebook can see. Try to not play the video I'm watching on Chromebook. Sorry guys, it's kind of a chaotic. Try to get it ready. Sorry. I try to get it ready and of course, what happens? Yeah, just my luck. Anyway, have some humility in the day, so at least I can laugh about it and go on. So, anyways, if you're new here, I'm Sandra. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Hi Lily, my twin. Glad you're here. So some rules that I want to do, and everybody should already know, but if you're new here, I need to tell you. Anyways, so this is an AA meeting, and we do not do judgment or bullying or any of that type of stuff. So if you can't say anything nice, just, hold your words. And don't go and harass people that are in the comments, because just because they're commenting does not mean that they are the alcoholic. They might be here to support my channel or be here to figure out ways to help a family member or a friend. So that's one of the things I ask. And please check the information in the video. Good morning, Brandy. I'm glad you're here. I miss you. My sister's coming up on 9 years. I almost said 10, and I'm not at 10 yet, and she's right behind me. But please be mindful of other people's feelings, and if you don't want to comment, that is completely okay. I understand. When I was first getting sober, I didn't tell everybody that I was an alcoholic, but they already knew, so I don't know why I didn't tell them. And now it's just a thing of y'all can know, because that's what I am. I'm a recovering alcoholic for the rest of my life. Hopefully. I can't say I promise that, but nevertheless, I'm sober now, and I plan to be for the rest of my life. Anyways, enough said about that. Let's get into the steps and produce the steps, and then we will get into the story. And I always put in the description. I always put in the page number, the story, and the right now we're in the big book, so the chapter. I will put that in there as well. If you don't have a book, there are apps that you can get. Most of them have audiobook or reading. They also have sobriety birthdays. It tracks how many days and months and years you have, and it's really cool to check back and see how long you have. So, anyways, I'm Sandra, and I'm an alcoholic. God, grant me the serenity. I lost it. To accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I really need to get back into doing these meetings because I almost completely forgot the prayers. Step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asking to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends. What are you eating? Ah! Sorry about that. The dog thinks he needs to eat everything that's on the floor. Lay down, please. Thank you. Anyway, 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would hinder them or others. This dog, man, sometimes he can drive me crazy. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Oh, anyways, scissors. I don't want to poke myself with them. So we are in the big book, which is the big blue book. On chapter 2, there is a solution, which is on page 17. Like I said, if you don't have a book, I'm going to read it and you can listen. And I'm going to tell you, every time I read it by myself or here in the group or in another group, something always catches me. So that's why I always read these books. I'm going to try to change it up every now and then and read something from a different area of AA, but I got to figure out how to do that. So that's coming, hopefully. So, we of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Bill. Nearly all have recovered. They have solved the drink problem. We are average Americans, all sections of this country, and many of its occupations are represented, as well as many political, economic, social, and religious backgrounds. We are people who normally would not mix, but there exists among us a fellowship of friendliness and an understanding which is indescribable, indescribably wonderful. We are like the passengers of a great liner. The moment after rescue from shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade the vessel from steerage to captain's table. Unlike the feelings of the ship's passengers, however, our joy in escape from disaster does not subside. As we go our individual ways, the feelings of having shared in a common peril is one is one element in the powerful cement which binds us, but that in itself would never have held us together, as we are now doing. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out of which we can absolutely agree, and upon which we can join in brotherly and sisterly and harmoniously action, harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. An illness of this sort, and we have come to believe it an illness, involves those about us in a way no other human sickness can. If a person has cancer or are sorry for him, or all are sorry for him, and no one is angry or hurt, but not so with an alcoholic illness. For with it there goes in humiliation of all the things worthwhile in life. It engulfs all whose lives touch the sufferers. It brings misunderstanding, fierce resentment, financial insecurities, disgust, friends and employers, warped lives of blameless children, sad wives and parents. Anyone can increase the list. We hope this volume will inform and comfort those who are or who may be affected. There are many highly competent psychiatrists who have dealt with us have found it sometimes impossible to persuade an alcoholic to discuss his situation without reserve. Strangely enough, wives, parents, and intimate friends usually find us even more unable than do the psychiatrist and the doctor. But the ex-problem drinker who has found this solution, who is properly armed with facts about himself, can generally win the entire confidence of another alcoholic in a few hours. Until such an understanding is reached, little or nothing can be accomplished. That the man who is making the approach has had the same difficulty, that he obviously knows what he is talking about, that his whole deportment shouts out the new prospect that he is a man with a real answer, that he has no attitude or holier than thou, nothing whatever except the sincere desire to be helpful, that there are no fees to pay, no axes to grind, no people to please, no lecture to be endured. These are the conditions we have found most effective. After such an approach, many take up their beds and walk again. None of us makes a sole vocation of this work, nor do we think its effectiveness would be increased if we did. We feel that elimination of our drinking is about a beginning, as much more or a much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. All of us spend much of our spare time in the sort of effort which we are going to describe. A few are fortunate enough to be so situated that they can give nearly all their time to the work. If we keep on the way we are going, there is a little doubt that much good will result, but the surface of the problem would hardly be scratched. Those of us who live in large cities are overcome by the relation that close by hundreds are dropping into oblivion every day. Many could recover if they had the opportunity we have enjoyed. How then shall we present that which has been so freely given to us? We have concluded to publish an anonymous volume setting forth the problem as we see it. We shall bring to the task our combined experience and knowledge. This should suggest a useful program for anyone concerned with a drinking problem. Hello, Ava. Thank you for coming. We have concluded to publish an. I already read that problem. Or that problem. That paragraph. Of necessity, there will be, or there will have to be discussion of matters medical, psychiatric, social, and religious. We are aware that these matters are, from their very nature, controversial. Nothing would please us so much as to write a book which would contain no bias for contention or argument. We shall do our utmost to achieve that idea. Most of us sense that real tolerance of other people's shortcomings and viewpoints and a respect for their opinions are attitudes which make us more useful to others. Our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. You may already have asked yourself why it is that all of us become so very ill from drinking. Doubtless, we are curious to discover how and why, in the face of experts' opinion to the contrary, we have recovered from a hopeless condition of mind and body. If you are an alcoholic who wants to get over it, you may already be asking, what do I have to do? It is the purpose of this book to answer such questions. Specifically, we shall tell you what we have done. Before going into a detailed discussion, it may be well to summarize some points as we see them. How many times people have said to us, I can take it or leave it alone. Why can't he? Why don't you drink like a gentleman or quit? That fellow can't handle his liquor. Why don't you why don't you try beer and wine? Lay off the hard stuff. His willpower must be weak. He could stop if he wanted to. She's such a sweet girl. I should think he'd stop for her sake. The doctor told him that if he ever drank again, it would kill him. But there he is, all lit up again. Now these are commonplace observations of drinkers, which we hear all the time. Back of them is a world of ignorance and misunderstanding. We see that these expressions refer to people whose reactions are very different from ours. Moderate drinkers have little trouble in giving up liquor entirely if they have good reason for it. They can take it or leave it alone. Then we have a certain type of hard drinker. He may have the habit enough to gradually impair him physically and mentally. It may cause him to die a few years before his time. If a sufficiently strong reason, ill health, falling in love, change of environment, or the warning of a doctor becomes operative, this man can also stop or moderate, although he may find it difficult and troublesome and may even need medical attention. But what about the real alcoholic? He may start off as a moderate drinker. He may or may not become a continuous hard drinker, but at some stage of his drinking career, he begins to lose all control of his liquor consumption once he starts to drink. Here's the fellow who has been puzzling you, or who has been puzzling you, especially in his lack of control. He does absurd, incredible, tragic things while drinking. He is a real Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He is seldom mildly intoxicated. He is always more or less insanely drunk. His disposition while drinking resembles his normal nature but little. He may be one of the finest fellows in the world, yet let him drink for a day, and he frequently becomes disgustingly and even dangerously antisocial. He has a positive genius for getting tight at exactly the wrong moment, particularly when some important decisions must be made or engagement kept. He is often perfectly sensible and well balanced concerning everything except liquor, but in the respect he is incredibly dishonest and selfish. He often possesses special abilities, skills, and aptitudes, and has a promising career ahead of him. He uses his gift to build up a bright outlook for his family and himself, and then pulls the structure down on his head by a senseless series of sprees. He is a fellow whose goes to bed so intoxicated he ought to sleep the clock around. Yet early next morning he searches madly for the bottle he misplaced the night before. If he can afford it, he may have liquor concealed all over his house. To be certain, no one gets his entire supply away from him to throw it down the waste pipe. As matters grow worse, he begins to use a combination of high-powered sedatives and liquor to quiet his nerves so he can go back to work. Then comes the day when he simply cannot take it and gets drunk all over again. Perhaps he goes to a doctor who gives him morphine or some sedative with which to taper off. Then he begins to appear at hospitals and sanitariums. This is by no means a comprehensive picture of the true alcoholic, as our behavior patterns vary, but this description should identify him roughly. Why does he behave like this? If hundreds of experiences have shown him that one drink means another debacle with all its attendant suffering and humiliation, why is it he takes that one drink? Why can't he stay on the water wagon? What has become of the common sense and willpower that he still sometimes displays with respect to other matters? Perhaps there never will be a full answer to these questions. Opinions may vary considerably as to why the alcoholic reacts differently from normal people. We are not sure why, once a certain point is reached, little can be done for him. For some reason my laptop screen keeps flashing, so hopefully I'm still live there. We cannot answer the riddle. We know that while the alcoholic keeps away from drink, as he may do for months or years, he reacts much like other men. We are equally positive that once he takes an alcohol, whatever, into his system, something happens both in the body and the sense, which makes it virtually impossible for him to stop. The experience of an alcoholic will be abundantly confirmed this. I'm going to stop there because I only have a half an hour left, and I want to reflect on some of what we already read. So my first thought that jumped out to me is right here. I don't know, maybe it's always been this part that jumps out at me. Crystal, but it says, but the ex-problem drinker who has found the solution, who is properly armed with facts about himself, can generally win the entire confidence of another alcoholic in a few hours. Until such an understanding is reached, little or nothing can be accomplished. That is very true. That is one of the truest things so far that caught my eye. Because as long as I am sober, I've been sober for 9 years, 8 months, and a few days, I believe. My sister will be 9 months on the 19th of July. So I'm praying for her to have a wonderful sobriety day. Um, we're neighbors, so I don't know. I don't really have anything planned yet. So, but she is right behind me, and that is how I know that this statement is true because, but I can't always get through to the alcoholic who still suffers. That's like many of us that are still sober and helping others achieve that goal and achieve the ability to stay sober for the rest of your life. Thank you, Brandy. Um, so I this is why I do the AA meetings here on YouTube and on Facebook, is because it helps people. And that's my goal, that's my purpose in doing these meetings. If I didn't have the other part of my channel, you know, that that would be devastating in itself, but the AA part of my life overrides everything. Um, because if I don't think of my sobriety, I can go and think about jumping off the water wagon, as it says. I never want to do that because I have done that before. I know I've said it a few times in my live streams or AA meetings. I was sober for a year before I ever went to AA. And I jumped off the water wagon, and everybody could tell. I was not fooling anyone. Um, and then I stayed back at it for easily another year and a half. I was just lucky that when I decided to leave my area that I was used to living and live somewhere else, I got sober. I thank God that I got to live off grid because that's what happened. Is I lived off grid and I decided I can't keep doing it. I can't keep putting myself through this. Can't keep putting my family through this. And I stopped drinking. My sobriety birthday is November 15th of 2014. It has not been easy. It's not going to be easy. You still have your days where you just feel blah, you don't want to do it. You just want to lay in bed and cry. That is okay. Having your real feelings, your true feelings versus the alcoholic ones are so much better because you're not hiding it. You're not masking it with that alcohol. You're being the authentic self that you were meant to be without the alcohol. You become a better person. AA teaches you steps that you can take to ensure that you can stay sober as long as you work your steps. It's all self-care. All of it is self-care. And sharing. I'm not saying you need to go on a platform like I am and share it. Just share it. to a friend, to a coworker, to a family member. You never know who may be suffering. And if it's you, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad that maybe I can help you with achieving that goal of becoming sober and staying sober. And that's the fact about learning these things. That's AA. You need to share it with someone. Help someone who is still suffering. Because we can. And at the same time, it helps us. So then I want to say I'm trying to find it. Um, okay, here it is. How many times people have said to us, I can take it or leave it alone. Why can't he? Why don't you drink like a gentleman or quit? That fellow can't drink like a gentleman or quit. Sorry. That fellow can't handle his liquor. Why don't you try beer and wine? Lay off the hard stuff. His willpower must be weak. He could stop if he wanted to. She's such a sweet girl. I should think he'd stop for her sake. The doctor told him that if he ever drank again, it would off him. But there he is, all lit up again. Yeah, I heard those. I heard those so many times while I was drinking that it hurt for me to realize that I put my family through that. They didn't do it. I did. That was me. That was my choice. They didn't force me to take that drink. They didn't force me to become an alcoholic. I fought it all of my life until I hit 30 because I knew it was possible for me to become an alcoholic. My birth father was an alcoholic. He died an alcoholic. And that is something I don't want for me. I always, and even still to this day, I am honest. I'm kind, willing to share my story every take that risk of being judged by somebody. Hey, I've got my sobriety and that's perfectly fine with me. Whatever you want to feel, whatever you want to say, it's not going to make me change. I am me, I'm sober, and that's who I'm going to be. I never want to go back to drinking the alcohol ever again. But I can't say I won't. The reason being, never say you're fully done with alcohol. Because if we get comfortable in saying, oh, it's all right for me to have a drink today, guarantee you because I did it a long time ago. You drink, you just go right back to the bottom where you just came from, and it's not worth it. It's not worth putting them through. Oh, they're sober. She's sober. He's sober. Whoever is sober. And look at how good they're doing. And then, well, now they wagon. Because I heard that right after I did. And it crushed me, but I still drank. I kept drinking. And then I got away from everyone except for my husband and my boys. And I decided and put into myself, I have to quit. I have to. This is not any other choice for me. I have to quit. And I quit. I have not gone back. I pray that I never do. I will ask her if she wants to go to that meeting on Friday. I will let you know via text. Um, so being a recovering alcoholic is a good thing. Being ashamed of who you were, I'm not ashamed of that. I know who I was. I know most of the things I did. I only ever had one or two bouts. That is it. And I never left my house on those. Um, so I remember everything. And my family reminds me of that person I was almost 10 years ago. Can't believe it. But I'm here to tell you sobriety is worth every single day of being there, being present, being aware of, okay, you might be in this situation, have a way to get out, have an exit plan. That's what I do. Shoot, I went to a YouTube meetup. The first one I went to was 2 years ago. My first ever meet, my first camping trip was just me and my sister. And yes, we're twins. We have done more exploring, the two of us, in being present in each other's life, holding each other accountable for day to day. We're nerds, and I still text her. I still call her. I still visit her. We still do almost everything together. But for that brief, we didn't. That was when I was trying to get her to come to AA, to come and see and get what I got out of it. And finally she did, after much lecturing from my sponsor. You can't harass her about coming. All you can do is ask her if she will come and then drop it. And then I read it in the big book. So yeah, I dropped it. And she came. I was so happy that day. So very happy that day. And I'm so proud of her. She's not the only person that I've helped. There's more. I don't know how many more anymore because I do it here live. But I'm proud to do it. I'm proud to help others with this problem. Because I know I'm not the only one. And neither are you. We all can do this. We all can do this. You have to want it for you. For you and you alone. You can't help somebody until you have the help yourself. And that's in every aspect of life. I quit smoking about 6 months ago. I don't post it everywhere that I quit smoking 6 months ago, but I did. My husband and I both did. The same day without telling each other. And we have not smoked a cigarette since. I used my AA for that. And I can't isolate myself from the smell of cigarettes because they make me nauseous. But I do go around my sister while she's smoking a cigarette because it reminds me why I quit smoking. And I have emphysema. But I'm glad to be sober. I'm glad to be present. I'm happy to face all my feelings soberly. I am happy to help people get sober, help people help others to get sober, and without knowing things you can do, things you can say, how you can support them, you don't know. And not everybody shares the part of this is what you can do. Try this or try that. Just listening to the reading can help you help someone. Because you may not be the alcoholic. Exactly. So my sponsor says, all my feelings, it's a big monkey off your back. When you quit smoking, it's like, yay, I'm not, yeah, to it. I don't have to have it. I don't need it and I don't want it. But it's much like drinking, so you can use your AA for that too. It took me longer than I wanted to because I wanted to quit at 5 years. I wanted to quit smoking at 5 years of sobriety, and I failed at that. But I quit now, and I can breathe a little better. Not a whole lot, but I can breathe a lot better than I could before. But yeah, so I'm glad I'm sober. I'm glad that you are all here, and I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. I'm going to read the daily reflections to YouTube side, and I'll post it on my wall. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you, Facebook. Stay sober. Okay, let me. Hello, Ryan Becky. Thank you for the shout out this morning. I appreciate it. And anyone who shares it, thank you. I'm going to get to the daily reflection. A measure of humility. July 16th. Hello, Jordan. Meeting's almost over, but I'm glad you all are here. And if you'd like, you can. Oh, you got back from checking your mail? Fun. In every case, pain has been the price of admission into a new life. But this admission price had purchased more than we expected. It brought a measure of humility, which we soon discovered to be a healer of pain. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 75. It was painful to give up trying to control my life, even though success eluded me, and when life got too rough, I drank to escape. Accepting life on life's terms will be mastered through the humility I experience. When I turn my will and my life over the care of God, as I understood Him, with my life in God's care, fear, uncertainty, and anger are no longer my response to those portions of life that I would rather not have happen to me. The pain of living through these times will be healed by the knowledge that I've received the spiritual strength of truth. That's true. So true. Um, yeah. Again, if you're new here, welcome. Please watch the replay. Um, I do like sharing my story here and having the ability to help people in this way. It's a free gift that I got, and it's a gift I'm giving for free. It's not money, it's sobriety. Money does not win. So, with that, I love you all. I hope you have a safe and wonderful week. And I will be doing a live stream tomorrow for my videos coming out from our last adventure. And then I will be live again Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another meeting. But my live stream tomorrow will be after Ava Potterfield and friends. So please come and join us in watching her live stream tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I hope I'm getting that right. Um, so it is out there. And Roy and Becky, thank you again for shouting me out. I appreciate you guys. And if you are not subscribed to Roy and Becky, they are living off-grid life in the desert videos. So please check them out. They do a great fun Friday night live of a bunch of people, and they play games, and it's just a joy to be part of the community. Anyways, with that, I love you guys, and have a great day, and stay safe out there, stay sober, and if you need help, there's always help. Look up your local AA meeting. There's meetings everywhere, even here online. So I love you guys, and be kind and be safe.